Straw Hut Media.
Hi, I'm Michael Madsen, and welcome back to my podcast, American Badass. This episode's guest I'm really excited about. I'm going to be speaking with Tom Arnold. Tom's a comedian and also a great actor. He's done so many movies and TV shows. You probably know him from Sons of Anarchy and True Lies, Happy Endings, and Roseanne, of course. And he's got some funny stories, let me tell you. Him and I were filming together in Italy during COVID. We shot a Christmas movie together called Christmas Thieves, and Tom and I had a pretty interesting time, to say the least. So why don't we just jump right in? Hey, Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy, thank you. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. Have you seen the poster for our picture? I was surprised. They're usually pretty bad.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
How many bad posters have you been on?
Oh,
because I've been on quite a few.
The ones where we never posed,
right?
They just inserted us in there because we're like, yeah, we don't want to pose for this.
Who picks them out? Who picks these?
I know.
It's always the worst picture of me that I can imagine, and there it is on the fucking poster all over the world.
Yeah.
Why did you guys pick that one? You know?
Yeah.
I look like I'm about to throw up or something. Why that one?
Yeah. So you got a great mic. How do you like doing the podcast?
Well, you're only my second. I did Bruce Dern, and you're
Love
just
Bruce.
you're the second guest. So
I'm honored to follow Bruce. I love him.
I'm honored to have you, Tommy. We had a good time in Italy, and it's wonderful to talk to you again.
Yeah.
The poster, man. I was surprised. I said, "Where is the poster? Please let me see it before it's too late." And I was so surprised. It looks great.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think it's going to be pretty funny.
Yeah, it will be. Plus, with what we know from being there, it's going to be very funny.
We have the inside information.
Yeah, we do.
When is it coming out?
I'm sure in the fall soon. Well, I guess it's fall almost.
Yeah,
I'm sure that this will be very soon.
Christmas. I always wanted to be in a Christmas movie.
Yeah, some of them are really good, and they play them over and over. So you're definitely in a Christmas movie.
Every year it'll be on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Although we took a lot of rides in the morning.
We took a lot of long rides in the morning.
For the Valadier.
Yeah. Let's talk about Italy. Let's talk, if you don't mind.
No, sure, Tommy, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I get to LAX, and it's confusing at LAX. It's November, it's COVID,
right?
Last November, and I see a guy with a Lakers hat on, and he goes, "Hey, you need anything?" And you pulled out a wad of paperwork, just wad, not organized. I had a neat folder.
Yeah, you were all set up, and I wasn't.
I think I'm good, and it really was that set the tone for our journey, which was long. It was a 17-hour journey, and from the minute we sat next to each other, and you had a glass of wine for the flight,
of course,
and and then we just started telling me stories about your life. We talked about our lives, and they were so amazing. I mean, it's I didn't realize then that you have a documentary, because I remember saying you got to document some of this shit because it was so excellent. Family, very honest, growing up, this and that, all the way through your life. And the funny thing is, as the flight got longer, first of all, the flight attendants loved you and kept bringing you wine in little glasses about that big. And
they go pretty quick.
And I would get up after, let's say, 12 hours, 10 hours, and go potty. And I'd come back, and then you'd be still in the story, but it'd be at a perfect place. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm waiting on you. It's like, okay, when you get back, we'll continue. And then when you get to Amsterdam, which is a terrible idea for Michael Madsen and Tom Arnold to have a 6-hour layover in Amsterdam. And, fortunately, we talked about, should we leave the airport? And I said no, believe it or not. It just was too, and so we went to the beach.
Tom.
Yeah, but here you have angels walking with you. That's all I'm going to tell you. First of all, you got two of the they give you if you fly on that airline, they give you little ceramic houses from
Yeah. Yeah.
from the Netherlands.
They're
You're only
white with
supposed to
blue
get
roof.
one.
Right.
You had two. They gave you
Yeah.
two,
I had three
and then
actually.
you had three, of course. I was up pottying, and then we went to the VIP lounge, and we're in there, and you kind of stretched out and said, "I'm going to take a nap." I go, "Listen, fucker, we're not missing the flight. We're not. Please don't, because I don't want to be fucking stuck here." And you stretched right out, take your hat off, take a little nap, and then at one point it was getting close to time to go, and I ran to potty, and I came out, and you were gone. And I freaked. I went. I looked at both the potties. I looked everywhere. I was asking people, "Do you know where Michael Madsen is?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, you got to be shitting me." And we were so far away from our gate, and we had to go back through customs. So at a
Oh my
certain point,
God.
I'm
Yeah. It was
looking.
forever.
Yeah, I thought I'm going without him. I have to. And I ran and ran and ran and barely made it through customs, because there's always an issue. And then I get to this place where they're doing all the COVID checks right before we board, and there's a line of people. And I thought, he's never going to make it because they want us to fill out more paperwork. I don't even know what I'm going to say. And all of a sudden, one of those cart comes up with you,
Yeah, I was in it.
basically in the same position that you were up in the VIP, just stretched out, relaxed. And a woman has driven you up there. And not only that, she filled out your paperwork. You're like,
Yeah, she did.
goes, what's your address? You go, I don't know. But you had it all done. You went right to the head of the line in front of everybody. And I was like, this guy is so blessed. He's got age. I just thought there's no way he's going to make it. And I just ran down there.
You
I
got to
was
get it
sweating,
right, man.
And you're like, "Why did you leave me?" I go, "Why? What do you mean I left you?"
You have to commandeer a vehicle. I just told everybody I was with Tom Arnold, and they gave me anything I wanted.
Man, I was afraid for us to go through customs together. Just the combination of who knows what has gone on in our lives.
Right.
I was like, well, we got to get one of us in there. But we made it, and we had great fun. We had a couple.
You're a good listener.
Well, I loved it, and I kept saying this reminds me of With Dale and I. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. I kept saying that to you.
Yeah, I think I have a long time ago.
And it's a great movie with Richard E. Grant and about two friends that are that travel and it's the chaos, but we get to the set, which you knew everything about the hotel, you knew everything about the town, you knew everything about everything, and we get to the set, which is like 45 minutes outside of Rome, and they put an elf costume on you.
Yeah.
And like with ties, it was nice. And I was Santa, of course.
Yeah.
And we had a great day. But then you got to let me tell something through. Then you came there with a shoulder injury, is what you told me.
Right.
And then so they had a
10 times
doctor.
worse.
So the doctor came over to give you a shot of who knows what. Anyway, the next day you're like, I'm feeling a little rough, and the people were like, well, are we gonna? First of all, they said, I said to these people, he's taking a little, just let him relax for a minute. What the fuck? You've seen this because several of them told me they worked with Peter O'Toole. Back in the day, they're old enough to. I go, you've seen this. They go, no, we've never seen anything like this. But I said he's going to be fine because I know you and I spent so much time with you. He just needs a little break. And what ended up happening is later when I was helping you out of the hotel, I got a look at your shoulder. I was grabbing on the shoulder that was injured, and you had bruises everywhere because I was like, maybe he's bullshitting me about his shoulder. Oh no, you had bruises everywhere. And then from me grabbing you, I was like, what happened is we're sitting there and then you're like, I don't trust these fuckers. They might try to stop the movie, which they were, and anybody gets COVID, the movie's done. I needed the money. So I'm like, relax, take a minute. And I go, and I pointed to a guy, really good looking young guy. It's a male model there whose brother financed the movie. I said, put his clothes on. So I took your elf costume off you, put it on him. And I said, we'll shoot from behind, Michael. Just give us a few hours. We'll shoot from behind. Give us a day. And I thought the more we shoot with this kid, the more they're going to keep this movie going because this kid is the brother of the financier.
Oh, he
And,
was very happy
you know,
about it. He had a big grin on his face.
oh my God, he was so happy.
He was
And he
putting
was
that
so
elf suit on. It was the best day of his life.
but he's also so good looking. He had a rocket body. He's like 25. And so, you know, but then you came back and we killed it. And then I got to be crappy. And then I kind of lost my shit. And you sat there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But
I let
the
you
best
have it
moment,
because I love you.
You really did. You really did. Because after all that, I'm like, then the last day. And then what happened the last day is the best part because it's such a Michael Madsen story.
Yep. So Tom and I are off to a good start on the movie. We were filming together. I had a shoulder injury and wasn't feeling great. And then there was Tom. Well, when we come back, we're going to hear a bit more about what happened to him. Tom had some problems with his Santa costume. I wasn't the only one having a shitty time. Tom had a pretty shitty time also. But more about that after the break. And we're back. Welcome back to American Badass. This episode's guest actor and comedian Tom Arnold. And for those of you just joining us, Tom and I filmed a Christmas movie together in Italy last year during the pandemic. And so things were already a little unusual, to say the least. On top of that, I had a shoulder injury, and we had to deal with the bureaucracy of the pandemic, of course. And it's a miracle that we made it there in the first place. But it even got better, or worse, I should say, for Tom. Anyways.
So, you know, we had a couple of rough days in the middle, and we finally complete it. And we get in the car. We're driving back after our last day, and I say, I got to tell you something, man. This morning, when I put on my Santa suit, I sharted. I shit it. And I said, I went into that bathroom downstairs there. There's no lock on it. So I had to fucking take off all my clothes. I was mic'd up. I had all that shit and fucking put one foot on the door and then make my underwear a washcloth, cleaned them up, and then had to clean myself. Fortunately, I hadn't shit all the way through to the red Santa Monica. But I said, I have been naked, and my pants fell down a lot in that movie. Once I got it cleaned up, there's no underwear there anymore. And they do come down a lot. And I thought, I was trying to tell you that story to make you feel, I go, well, at least you didn't shit your pants. And you go, you know, I was a Christmas tree. I went out to get Christmas trees with my kid, my son, who was 8. And I shit my pants. But that's not the whole story. Then your story goes, and your son had shit his pants. So I'm not sure who shit it first, but you took off your underwear for him, or you did something like that. You shit yours.
I gave it to him, and then I shat in my own with no freaking underwear. And I mean, you know, it's very awkward.
And you're trying to get a Christmas tree. And then I was like, okay, your story beat me. And then you go, and then I went back to the next year and I shit my pants again. Like it's just having a shitting your pants story isn't good enough. And the way you talk, you're like, yeah, I should. I mean, it wasn't even a beat for me telling, I go, I got to tell you something humiliating. This what happened today. I was in there. I tell the whole breathless story and you go, yeah, I was looking for a Christmas tree. You go cut it down. My son shit his pants. Hey, I felt bad. I gave my underwear, and then I shit my. Like your story is a 10. I thought I finally had a good, crazy story for you. It didn't very matter, and it's also sweet. Your story is sweet because you're going down and chopping down a Christmas tree with your kid, and your kid shits his pants, and you do what any good dad would do. You give him your underwear, you clean him up, and then, of course, you shit your pants with no underwear, and your wife's like, what the fuck is going on? And then it happened the next year.
Yeah, exactly. The same situation twice in a year. Yeah. He's in the Marines now. He's a sergeant now, for God's sake.
I know.
Call him Sergeant Blonde.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I didn't know if you were going to tell the shit pants story, but I'm glad you did because I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I thought it was pretty funny because they're always downstairs. We were stuck downstairs in that basement, having to change clothes and get ready every day. Holy Christ in heaven, man!
Yeah,
it was not a great place to have privacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they also had a trailer so far away from the set, and then
why was it 5 miles away?
you did the right thing. You're like, this is fun. Like, I'm not getting out of the car. And you weren't being a baby. You're like, this is so crazy far from the set they just wanted to keep us on the set at all times.
Right.
Like, even between setups and takedowns and other people shooting. And so we were in this little area with all these people. And you finally said, well, this just isn't appropriate. And it ended up being great for me too, because we got a little time in our trailer.
Yeah.
And it's not like you were trying to say, let's slow this shit down. You're like, I will be here when you call for me, but I don't want to be here when you're not calling for me, which is a great thing.
Well,
so
you were right there with me the whole time, though. I don't think I
Yeah.
could have made it through without you, Tommy.
Me
We
too.
had some wonderful
Me
times.
too.
You listened to me so well. We played off of each other. It kind of really worked. The whole relationship and the plot of that thing is so ridiculous, but I can't imagine anybody else getting away with it.
No. And what's happened is we really
I wanted to be Santa, though. I wanted your outfit.
No, you don't.
I didn't want to be the elf.
You have a nice elf outfit. And I have to say this.
It's ridiculous.
You taking a couple hours off was the best thing that ever could have happened, because then we shot all the stuff behind you, but then we had to change the characters and then they were way more realistic. Like, originally you were this sweet, like uncle, it turned out, and I was the gangster, and all of a sudden it changed it to the way it should be. But you also, we had some amazing scenes together. I have to tell you, when I was, freaking out, and you seriously, because the way you play, because your acting is so fucking stellar, that it's we also made a different holiday movie. Let's be honest.
It was completely.
Yeah.
Well, that big Merry Christmas at the end when we're singing in front of the house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had never read that. I didn't realize we were even going to do that.
Yeah.
And it was such a nice, sweet way to end it up.
Yeah. Bruised shoulder, having it pulled out of your arm pulled out of the socket.
Yeah, it completely
by your
came
buddy.
out. Yeah. That was fun. You don't want to be in the hospital in Rome.
No. Although, again, do you remember this? The guys go, the financier, the real rich guy, he was like fat, they come in with we'd take a picture of my girlfriend the next day, take a picture of my girlfriend, a different woman. He goes like this. Thank you for being so good with Michael. I go, well, of course. He goes, we'd like to do you a favor. I'd like to send a doctor to visit you. I go, oh, that might. He goes, like a dermatologist. Like, that's the most insulting thing I'd ever heard. He goes, could I send my dermatologist over to you to take a look? It's free. I'll pay for whatever he does to your fucked up face. But that's really what he said to me.
No, I'm not surprised. He was supplying me with whatever I supposedly needed. And little did I even know what the hell they were. And buying them over the counter. Here you go. Have these,
Have a box of this.
Take a whole box of these. Yeah, sure.
Well, it was great because I've taken a box of those in my life, and I was like, oh, here's what's going to happen. And you had it. You were like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they gave me. I don't know. I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, I'm going to be with you because whatever you do, I've done worse. I'm going to tell you. And it was really
along. You were.
It was so good. Yeah, we bonded so. We both did. It went both ways. You came back, and finally I could be my asshole self for a minute. But no, it was really good because we were. We're the only two guys. We're in there. Nobody speaks English. We're making this movie that we're kind of suspect about, and we really bonded because, we both had each other's backs. And, one day, this and that, but we were together all the time to work, back from work, at work, and very rarely does that happen. And, but it was a good thing.
I hope the picture is funny as hell. And I being that it's a Christmas picture and with you, it just, I can't remember looking forward to something I've done coming out as much as I'm looking for that one. I really hope it's good,
Yeah.
I hope what we did, shows up in the picture.
Well, let me just say, it's called The Christmas Thieves, and we aren't really Santa and an elf. We're thieves, the worst people. We're Rob on Christmas Eve because we're like, we can steal a lot of shit. And we end up running for the cops, end up in this house where the kids think that we're the babysitters because babysitters dress up on Christmas Eve. And we're like, we are the babysitters.
Sure we are. Yeah,
we're going to say here. And then,
let's read some stories.
Eventually it gets and the kid's mom is a cop, of course. And then there's a whole bunch of other story stuff, but there's some real sweet stuff in there too. And you were extra sweet. And, I see you working with those little kids and the way they're looking at you and responding to you, and it was wonderful.
I think they were scared to death of me when we first started, but
yeah,
I think they got over it, especially after they saw me with the fishing pole trying to get the cell phone. It was pretty good. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to American Badass. Today's guest is actor and comedian Tom Arnold. And Tom and I did a movie together called Christmas Thieves. Anyways, Tom and I had a pretty good time in Italy. We had each other's back, which is important if you're filming in a foreign country. Anyways, Tom's a great actor, and he's been in a whole bunch of different movies and TV shows, so he knows that. As an actor, it doesn't really matter how close you are with a director and what you want for your character, because in the end, they'll want you to do what they think works best for the story. And it's really rare that you get to really have any kind of say in it at all.
I was on a show called Sons of Anarchy for a couple of seasons. I did, and I loved doing the show, and I loved all the people in it. And I felt like, we're very close. And one day, Kurt Sutter, who created the show, came into my trailer and goes, "You're dying today." It reminded me of that. I go, "No, whoa, no." I go, "Okay, but kill me in a way that I can come back." And he said, "We're shooting you 40 times. We're going to put you in the trunk of a car and then shoot you 40 times." And you just knew if you were working on that show, you were going to get killed. It's like The Sopranos. Eventually somebody's going to kill you. But that feeling of,
it's like being the guy dressed in red on Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the guys dressed in red are going to get it sooner or later.
Yeah.
The thing I just did, I hadn't read the ending because I just did like a cop thing in Texas, and I hadn't read the ending because they hadn't sent it to me. And I'm having a script meeting with the director and the day before we're going to start, and I said, well, what happens at the end of this thing? Because I have a feeling you're going to do me in. And I said, I don't want to do that. Please, I'm tired of all my kids want to ask me before I leave is, Dad, are you going to get killed again? And I said, please, not this time. And the guy goes, no, actually, you're doing the tag at the end of the film, and you see this thing come out of the sky and this creature that's been killing everyone, but you're actually very kind of serious about it, and you walk away and light a cigarette. And I go, whoa, that's different. Good. That's good. I like that. Yeah. So I'll survive to the sequel.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. I had and I know we both had romantic movie stuff.
Yeah.
I did this movie called Happy Endings. It's very good. And Maggie Gyllenhaal was my girlfriend in it. She was sort of playing me. Her character was sort of playing my character. I was a rich older guy. Jason Ritter was my son, who was her buddy. And I let her band practice at my house. I let her do anything, and I would have in real life let her do anything too. And we got such a great thing because her character turned a corner, and you can see, oh no, she does like this guy. And I said to Don Roos, who the great writer director, I said, listen, we both said it, Maggie and I, we don't want to break up in this movie. and he's like, tell me what that feels like. And I said, well, it feels like we shouldn't, and it's awful. And and he goes, remember that tomorrow when I shoot the breakup scene, get that feeling out there on camera about how you don't really want it. And that's what I'm looking for, because we're doing it.
And then it happened for real.
Yeah.
They changed this jogger. I'm supposed to be following this jogger in my squad car. And, they originally wrote me as kind of this creepy sheriff who's lechy, and he's watching this girl jog down the street, and he pulls her over, for some ridiculous questions, and just because I wanted to meet her. And then, but previous to that, I did a scene with the guy who's supposed to be the mayor of the town, and he's with this very attractive woman. And in the middle of the conversation, I look at her, and she's looking at me, and And out of nowhere, I go, well, you made up your mind to jump ship, back in the day.
Mhm.
And she goes, well, let's not talk about that. And she was right there, came back
Oh, that's great.
with a line from nowhere. And I don't even know
Yeah.
why I said it. But the next day, they decided that she was going to be the jogger that I pull up behind in the squad car.
Oh, that's cool.
And so all of a sudden, she became my girlfriend that I knew before she was with the mayor.
Oh, that's a better story.
Yeah, it was.
But that's what's helpful about getting involved with projects that we do. Like, you're always like, well, I'm going to come in here for a little while. I don't really want to care. I'm going to let them do their thing. I'm going to do my best job. But then all of a sudden, when you take a look at the story, you go, oh, I care about my character. I care about this. I don't want him to be the creepy guy.
Right.
Is there a way? And there's not always a solution. Sometimes you just got to do it. But that's a great, and that also says a lot about the woman that you were acting with too. That
she was wonderful. Her name was Joy Lee. She was wonderful. She really brought it. And when I'm talking to her on the side of the road, it was so natural, and it completely changed me from the lecherous sheriff to a guy who was really not not a bad guy.
Right.
He was just getting ready to retire, and he was in a small town, and he's trying to solve a murder, and all of a sudden he has this humanistic side where he really misses his old girlfriend and, didn't, trying to scare her with the squad car so he could have a little chat with her. And it was really kind of nice. Yeah. It made the whole thing work for me on a different level,
Yeah.
I know that's probably happened to you, Tommy, a bunch of times.
Well, I played a small town sheriff a couple 3 weeks ago. Dad, let's talk about this. Bob Bay Beach, California, down by the Salton Sea. It was a fucking 123 degrees.
Oh no!
And the makeup and they'd rented people's trailers, so there really wasn't air conditioning inside either.
Right.
And my car that drove me down from my hotel, which is in some Palm Springs somewhere, the air conditioning broke on that. And when sometimes you are just so uncomfortable, you can't. It's like, fuck it.
And no one gives a shit because they're suffering too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is complain.
I can't walk out of here. It's too far to walk. Yeah.
What's it like in what was I going to ask you? I saw you on a show the other day. Funny you should ask. Were you like a regular on that thing with the comedians?
No.
It looked like a one-off thing.
I think I did. Did I get a trophy? I think I won the trophy. I did. They wanted me to come back, but I said no. I won this episode. I'm done.
No, you
I'm
did.
done.
You did. You were funny as hell.
Yeah. Hey, let me show you this.
Do they tell you guys the answer on that show? Like, do they tell you what funny line you're supposed to say? You really make it up.
No, you really had to be on point.
Is that
Look
it?
at this. Look at this. I got this weekend. It says New Jersey Horror Con and Film Festival Legacy Award, Tom Arnold. And I think they gave about 30 of these out. It's one of the things I've been doing where I saw Bruce Dern the week before at the Hollywood Autograph Show, which I love Bruce. I love that whole family, but I love Bruce Dern.
So do I.
And it's funny because I went over to talk to him for a while, and then to hear he did your first podcast.
He did.
That makes a lot of sense. There's nobody better.
He was wonderful. He was really, I knew he was going to be good, but he was better than that. He told so many things. I thought I knew everything about him because we shot The Hateful Eight together. And I had heard all of his stories many times. And I thought, okay, there's nothing he's going to talk about that I haven't already heard. But by God, for 2 hours, he told things that I had never heard before. It was great.
That's amazing.
He was so nice. He was so wonderful. He's such a character.
Yeah. How's your mom doing?
Oh, well, she's moved into a assisted living place with her husband, and they're very happy, and it's a nice place. It looks like the Four Seasons. And, I think she's very happy actually. And
what about the cats? Okay. Are the cats still there?
That's the one question I haven't got to the answer yet. Yeah. I'm not sure what they've done with those critters, but They had quite a life there for a while with their little hutches, and I don't know what they did with them. It was very funny. But,
they had tunnels.
yeah, they had a
gotta
little tunnel they could go through to get on the deck, but then once they're out there, that was it. There's nothing to do but go back through the tunnel back in the house. And that was Ed, her husband. Is a very creative guy.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking about her. She's she put up with me, and she's in the documentary. You probably saw her.
Yeah, and she has a great story because, she was one of these Midwestern wives whose husband was, your dad was a fireman. That's a certain, you think, well, that's always the long-suffering mom, long-suffering wife. And then she, after he goes, she eventually meets this other guy, and it's all her. She's like peppy and, romantic. And as you were explaining it to me, it was just very wonderful.
Yeah.
Because people think, well, you get one life, you do one thing, that's who you are. And then she's really the hero of your family, because she's like, no, and then I'm going to do this. And then she's, she was having a lot more sex than I am. I'll tell you that right now, because she was in love. She had and you were like, yeah, they're great. They get, it's amazing.
Yeah. They're still at it. I hope I have that energy when I get up there. I think you're definitely the hero of your family, Tom, and I can tell.
Yeah.
The stories you told me about your kids and the kind of dad you are. It makes me just love you even more, buddy.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I feel the same.
Papa. You talk a lot. We talked a lot about our life growing up and how we could do better for our kids. My sister was the queen of meth. There's that documentary series.
What was that all about?
Her.
My God.
Well, she's a year younger. I mean, your sister is a very beautiful actress, but mine was the queen of meth, and she was the biggest methamphetamine dealer in America. And I will say this: when you're
your sister.
Yeah. When you're and by the way, your sister looked so good in the documentary too.
Yeah.
It's like it was, but she when your little sister is the queen of meth, a huge drug dealer, because they don't just have meth. When you're young, you're like, yeah, this is all right,
Sure.
And but she was a biker and ended up going to prison a couple times. I'm very proud of how she, turned things around, but it goes back into our childhood, much like your documentary goes into yours, and they're very similar.
You kind of have to,
go
back.
I think people like that, and I hope everybody sees your documentary. We watched it a couple times over here, once for the movie part, but then once for the human part, and there's a couple shocking things that happened during that. Your house.
I didn't want it to be a whitewashed ego trip. I wanted to. I told them from the very beginning, I said, guys, I don't need to tell a big fake story and, turn this into a Heckle and Jekyll cartoon. And, if we're going to make it, we have to say the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm so happy that it kind of came out that way. It covered it all. If I get hit by lightning tomorrow, I'm happy it got made.
No, it's very good. It's very good. I want people to see it.
For those of you who don't know, there's a documentary coming out soon called American Badass. It's a Michael Madsen retrospective. It's kind of a touring festival at the moment. And I'm having a look back at my life and career. It took quite a long time to make, almost 3 years, and I wanted it to be real, to show the truth about who I am and how I started out, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But let's talk more about that after the break. Well, welcome back, everyone. Today I'm speaking with my friend, actor and comedian Tom Arnold, who was so kind to watch my documentary, American Badass, a Michael Madsen retrospective. There's a whole bunch of people in it who I am so grateful for contributing. Quinton, of course, but also John Travolta, Daryl Hannah, Charlie Sheen, also my mom and my sister. So I feel really blessed to have it come out and finally, so Tom's seen it already. Here's what he had to say.
In your documentary, I have to say, the greatest, I don't know if it's 7 minutes, 8 minutes ever in a documentary is Quinton going through the beats of the hat
Yeah.
you wore.
Oh,
But it's so fucking funny.
Fucking hat.
And you see you're acting live because you don't know what is going to happen, and something happens, and you are very attached to that hat.
Yeah.
And your face is so brilliant, but only somebody that loves you as much as Quentin Tarantino and respects you as much could do that. Otherwise, it would come off as, this guy is fucking with me so much.
I didn't want to take it off, and he made me. He put it in the script, and then I had no choice. I had to take it off.
Well, he talked about the table read, and you show up with that hat, and he's like, "What the fuck is that hat?"
Yeah,
like,
you're not wearing his hat.
Yeah. And so he spent the whole movie trying to get the hat off your fucking head, which to me, that's what
It's true.
I love about great documentaries. There's a lot of great film stuff in there. You talk a lot about your inspirations. You're a huge fan of these great actors, but then to see something played out in basic real time, because we all know Quentin Tarantino and you have done all these things together, but to see what was going on behind the scenes and in his head, and just see you react to it on film. That's the best. You don't see that in other documentaries. I really like that.
I thought he was really gracious with his time, and really, he was very. He didn't want to do it. Like the first couple of times, I said, "I'm doing this documentary, and maybe you could, say something." And he's like, "No, Michael, no, I don't do that kind of thing. I don't want to be in the documentary. I can't." So I stopped asking him. I just gave up after I said, he's never going to do this. And all of a sudden, like toward the end, like out of the blue, he calls me up. Hey, are you guys still making that documentary? I go, well, yeah. He goes, well, I'll do it. I'm going to tell that story about this. I'm going to tell the story about your fucking hat. And I go, oh my God. Yes, of course. Yeah. So he said, well, how soon can your crew get over here? And I go, well, I guess they'll get them there pretty quick. And they showed up the next day, and boy, oh boy, he did such a nice contribution to it, right?
Well, he's also a storyteller. So in my mind, he was thinking, well, what would I add to this? What would I add except complimenting Michael or describing different scenes, how scenes went? But then he thought, this hat story is fucking gold. Like, it'll be gold. People will be talking about that forever. Like, you just don't see a great director, writer break down. You hear him talk about, well, this scene happened, but it was like, and it was a long story, but it paid off so well on your face when you were so sad when you had to take your hat off. But that really happened.
I didn't want to do it. I'm not that good of an actor. I didn't want to take it off.
No,
he
but
showed
that was
up
great.
In my trailer in the middle of the day. He knocks on the door. We're out in Barstow, and he goes, hey, I just wrote this, and, this is what we're going to shoot today. And he hands it to me and closes the door. And I said, what the hell is this? Right? I sit down, and I camper, and I start realizing, oh, my God, I have to take off my hat. Holy shit. Now I have to do it now. He figured out how to get to me in a personal way. Larry Bishop had a great time doing it. He said, I can't wait to tell Madsen to take that thing off his head. He really went for it. That was his favorite moment of the film.
Yeah.
Tommy, God, it's so nice to see your face and to hear
Good to see you, buddy. I love you.
Tommy, you really made the second. This is my second shot at this thing, and just to have you is just wonderful, Tom.
I knew you'd be great at this. I said to you, you got to do a fucking podcast. You've got to do it because you are a podcast. You're a walking podcast, and if you're going to do everybody else's podcast, you should have your podcast.
Yeah,
for real.
On it, damn it.
Yeah. Eddie, I'll come back anytime. I love you. Say hi to the family. I will keep you posted on our movie, and I will see you in person soon. I'll come out to wherever you are.
I hope so, Tommy. God bless you, man.
God bless you too, man.
Love you, Tom. Thanks for listening, everybody. This was episode 2 of American Badass with Tom Arnold. I love Tom, like a brother to me. We really had so much fun in Italy, and now you know that filmmaking really isn't all that glamorous. You're either too hot or too cold, and if things go really bad, you might end up in a Santa suit full of shit. All right, so don't forget to watch out for our upcoming movie, Christmas Thieves. It should be out this fall, hopefully. And again, thanks for tuning in. It really means the world to me. If you enjoy listening to me talking with great actors and artists, the people that I love and admire, if you haven't already, well, please subscribe to follow and have a review whilst you're there. Every rating and review helps, and I love hearing your thoughts.